All right, I accidentally cut it off. So excited trying to get people on. All right, we figured out the culprit. I went to my Play Store. It didn't say update, but I just hit open and I opened it and now it looks normal again. So, don't know. It didn't say I needed an update, but I did just hit the open. So maybe I just had to do that. But why all that happened right before I was bringing them on, I don't know. So, but we're going to still bring them on. I hope you guys come on. I see you, Dr. Thomas. See, now I can add you like our normal way to do this. Let me accept you. And here you are coming on the page. Oh, my gosh. Here you are. There you are. All right. That was, oh my goodness gracious.
Thumbs up.
Huh?
I said 2 thumbs up. That was hard work.
Exactly. Oh my, I am very, very persistent. I do not give up easy. So, but I'm glad he decided to say that, even though mine didn't say to update, but it said open. I just opened it and then here we are. So I hope people decide to jump back on because they were definitely coming on because I definitely wanted them to hear this. But if all else fails, we know you're going to come back next week and we'll be able to bring things, to go ahead and bring this out. Let me see something. I don't have my other phone here. So, Dr. Thomas, first of all, thank you for coming on. I'm really happy that we were able to figure this thing out because it was a little cray-cray there for a second. So I'm glad that you're here. So now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I know we're going to make this going to be a much shorter call because, we had issues getting on. But next week, he's going to come back and we'll be able to. That's what we're going to really be more broad anyway. But today, he's just going to tell us a little bit about himself and a little bit about the other 2 things that we mentioned. Can you tell us a little bit? I know you did earlier, but a little bit about yourself and exactly what you do. What is your specialty?
Well, now I am specializing in metabolic medicine and nutritional science. So I've added it on in the last 10 years. So I now additionally have done training and a specialist for endocrinology. Also, I've trained with exercise physiology, so I actually could be a personal trainer. But I did that course so I could learn everything about how exercise is essential for your longevity, because when I was in med school 40 years ago, they didn't know as much as we know today. Additionally, I've trained with some of the best exercise physiologists who train Olympic trainers, who train quarterbacks. And so they taught us all the techniques that they use so that you can have, what they do is do it so you have athletes who can do peak performance. But they said this also applies to everybody else so you can be the healthiest that you could be. So these are the secrets.
All right. So you did some amazing additional training. I wasn't gonna say additional. I mean, you went beyond the scope of some people, right? Sounds like you did. Yeah, you went beyond the scope. And what really caught my eye about you, because I know when I saw metabolism and nutritional and things like that, and then I had the chance to hear you this weekend, and I was like, wow, he would be amazing to come on so we can see. So I'm so thankful you was able to move some things around to come on so you can bring people some things that they don't get every time they go to their doctor. And I love this also, that you are an MD doctor, but you also specialize in natural healing as well.
Yes.
And a lot of MD doctors don't do that. And I heard you say something about, you said, well, some of them were in, they said, well, they didn't teach us while we was in school. They didn't show us that. You said, well, you went to school 40 years ago. They didn't have that then. So it's either doctors are going to go back and catch up with some of the newer findings, or they're going to stay in that particular box here and not go above it. And I love that you took that ability to go ahead and go just what you know, and then add some other thing to your platform. So I'm so thankful that you were able to that you did that. And so, can you tell us a little bit about your special? And you asked that question a while ago, what that thing was, what that was. Can you show us that again? Are you still in your office?
Yes. So
Okay.
what we have here looks like sort of like a tent,
Yeah.
but it's a hyperbaric oxygen chamber.
It,
And
say that
although
again.
it's hyperbaric oxygen chamber,
Okay.
so you actually can get inside and the pressure goes up 1.3 atmospheres. And the research I did on that demonstrates that that extra oxygen has been proven to help people who had a stroke 10 years ago and they get back some functionality. It's helped people that have lung problems. It actually has lengthened your telomeres. Telomeres are the caps on the end of your chromosomes. And as
Mm-hmm.
you get older and those things stop functioning, in other words, they get shorter, it limits
Mm-hmm.
your lifespan. It also gets rid of old, worn out cells. Those are called senescent cells. And I jokingly call those the ghost cells that are in each of your organs that is reducing the function of each of your organs. So if we remove that, all of the researchers at Harvard and other places say this is why people can live easily to 120 because there are new changes in how we view medicine. And I call it's metabolic medicine. So they now know that the origin of cancer cells come from stem cells that have been reprogrammed wrong. So there are things we can do, and it's the polyphenol that's in fruits and vegetables that can reprogram those cells and kill the stem cells better than chemo or radiation. And so if
Mm-hmm.
somebody wanted to read it, they could go online and say 25 foods that kill cancer stem cells better than radiation. And you would get a documented peer-reviewed study that shows you can use nutrition to help you with precancer or cancer. So this is the research I love to read.
So, saying that, because we know, do you have, I mean, as far as a huge percentage of people who buy into that versus, I need a pill, or it can't be that simple, me just eating, it's my nutrition. It can't be that simple how I can turn my health around. It could not be that simple. What's your percentage of people that, I mean, I know you can give me a true percentage that actually are going that route versus I need a pill or put me on some machine or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that the motivation for people to look at nutrition is A, when they have a health crisis,
Mhm.
and B, when they really look at it and find out that very few people are helped by just taking a pill. And if you
Right,
think about it, you can't keep doing the same thing you've been doing and expect a different result. I think it was
right. Mm-hmm.
Einstein that said if you do that, that's the definition of insanity.
Insanity.
So
Mm-hmm. Right,
even with my patients, I have an extensive weight loss program, and I try to explain to them weight loss is not a good word to use because you don't want really weight loss. You want fat loss and muscle gain. And to accomplish that, you have to reprogram your metabolic system. And so it's easy to reprogram. I shouldn't say it's easy. The steps are easy, but doing it is hard. So we have programs to use the hyperbaric oxygen chamber. We have programs for weight loss. We have programs that can reverse diabetes in 8 weeks. And these are not things Dr. Thomas is just saying off the top of his head. Anyone listening can go and look up the Newcastle study on reversing diabetes. They did that years ago, and every single person in the study got diabetes reversed in 8 weeks.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was sharing with someone just last week, actually last Wednesday, about someone that they was their child was recently diagnosed with diabetes, And I asked them, I said, would you be open to hearing a way that maybe you could literally rid your son's diabetes by doing something totally different on a more natural? No, no, no. I'm not taking my son's chances with my son. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. No. He said, I'm going to go with what the doctor say. I don't know nothing about that other stuff. I just know what the doctors tell me. So we're going to give him his insulin. We're going to give him this special food, and we're going to do what we're supposed to do. And I'm just like, okay, all right. You know, there's a lot of people that turn that ear because it seems too simple. It just seems too simple to say we can do this to turn it around because, diabetes is something, if I got it, I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. To hear that, people turn a deaf ear. So, like you were just saying, how can we get over that? I guess enough people have to do it and show those studies. So, correct?
Yeah, and it's real simple if you think about it. It's like 3 steps, and you can start to turn around diabetes. But remember, you can't keep doing what you've been doing. So I like to usually I do the quiz and say, what's the single most important thing when it comes to your body healing itself? And very few people get the answer. The answer is the infinite intelligence that's already in your cells. So we can reprogram your metabolism because epigenetics is the field of study where if you change what they call lifestyle, I don't like that word, but if you change what you eat, when you eat it, what you do, how much sleep you get, you actually can reprogram what genes work and what genes are turned off. So, for an example, every African American Black person needs to know you're vitamin D deficient. And when they tell you your level's okay because it's 30, you should know your level should be at least 60 to 100. And what vitamin D does is turn on genes that make you healthier. And it turns off genes. And this is so proven because they did this in Finland, gave newborns for the first 10 years of life vitamin D, and it cut type 1 diabetes by over 80%. So these are studies that's proven, but I think it's hidden behind the veil, it's hidden behind the research, because who's going to go and read all that? And so you're stuck with the notion that every ill, you need a pill. No, you don't need a pill for every ill. You need to think differently. And my motto, so to speak, is thinking differently is the cure. That's what can cure people, thinking differently. And so if you aren't well read or don't have that capacity, those people need to see somebody like me who can be their mentor or their coach, and that will allow them to have someone who has enough experience, who has enough patients who they have helped. It's just like a basketball team. The coach may not be able to get on the floor, but he knows enough about the plays, the individual talent. He can put together a team that can win. So I try to explain, especially to the moms, hey, not only do you need to do this for yourself, you need to come up with a plan, a game plan that can help your entire family, because you're the one in your house in charge of nutrition.
Right.
So you can't let your kids do things that's going to end up with a disease 20 years from now.
So when you speak of nutrition, because I know everybody's on the more of the bandwagon, not gonna say everybody, but people are going that way because, I know we've already lost a lot of the actual nutrition in the food that's supposed to be nutritious, but at least doing that way is still better than a lot of other stuff we can put in our mouth. What are some of the foods that you're saying that, because I know a lot of people are going more meatless or, eating very little meat, or fish or whatever. And so, but you can still be nutrition. I mean, you can still have meat and still be, or do you feel like you can still have meat and still be on that same bandwagon as you're speaking on?
Yeah, well, let me explain it a little bit more. So probably everybody's heard of the 600-pound woman or whatever that show was.
Right.
So she's eating
Yeah.
all this food. She gained all that weight. She's nutritionally deficient
Right.
because the food she was eating doesn't have
There's
the
no
nutrients
nutritional
in it.
value.
I like to give an
Mm-hmm.
example. If you're remodeling your kitchen and Saturday they're coming to put the new cabinets up because they've done the floors, the ceiling, the fixture, they've done everything except the cabinets. They get there to fix your kitchen, but you didn't buy the cabinets.
Right.
So those carpenters can remodel or put up your old cabinets, but that's the most important thing for people to understand. There's 330 billion cells that die every day in your body,
Right.
and the same number that are, let's say, regenerated or born. So if you have the right nutrients, your body can be healthier as you get older to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So one quick thing, the big word polyphenols, that's the stuff in fruit and vegetables that give it all the vibrant colors. That's what your body needs to heal itself. So if you're not
Mm-hmm.
rotating through 30 different fruit and vegetables a month, the fact that you got 4 or 5 of your favorite vegetables, you're still deficient. And that's why I test people. I say we should test so we don't have to guess. So when I test you and find out your magnesium inside your red blood cells is low, it's not going to operate properly. If I test you and find out your C-reactive protein, that's a protein that's made in response to inflammation. If that's high, then your stem cells have to change into something to fight infection. They can't improve your body. So we now know the blueprint of how we can help your body heal itself better, but the average person wants to still eat the same things that created the problem. So what we do is at least shine the light on, well, here's a path that's different, and you and your family can change. Because again, in my house when I grew up, mom was in charge of nutrition, of the food.
Right.
So we have to change
Right.
it for the whole family. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the beginning of understanding.
Well, that's some great information because a couple of things you said a while ago, you were talking about vitamin D, and you said most African Americans their vitamin D is very low, and I know I fall in that category. Last time I had it checked, it was very, very low. I said, "Dang, we can't even hardly show it on there." And then I wonder. Because we say vitamin D, but isn't vitamin D, as we call it, isn't it more of a hormone or something like that, or is it
Thank you.
truly a vitamin?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy you said that
Mm-hmm.
because a vitamin cannot be made in your body. So
Okay.
since your body is making vitamin D, it's a steroid hormone that your body makes in the skin in response to the sun. And since African Americans have any pigment at all, it blocks it. And since living above the 33rd parallel, you can't get the sun to make vitamin D for 6 months of the year. October to April, no vitamin D from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason why Black people have the highest death rate from colon cancer, breast cancer, lung
Mm-hmm.
cancer, heart disease, kidney failure. Have you ever noticed all the dialysis units in the Black community?
Have I noticed
Kidney,
what?
the dialysis units, where
Oh,
you go to
yeah,
get
I have every corner
right.
almost. They just right,
Right.
right, right.
So if you have high vitamin D over 70, then you don't get end-stage kidney failure. So I have to believe that since these are things that I just read, I didn't do the research, I'm reading the research, it's readily available. Matter of fact, you could Google, let me set it up. Black people die the most from COVID. Same reason, because they're the most deficient in vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
So you could Google it and say vitamin D and COVID. You get a study on your phone and then look at results. None of them had a vitamin D over 40. So COVID is really a vitamin D deficiency disease. Breast cancer is really a vitamin D deficiency disease. So it's possible that other things initiate it, radiation, DNA damage, chemicals. But if you have vitamin D, your immune system works better. So it can do the one thing that we want to happen. And I try to explain this without going too far off, but Ephesians 3:3 tells you everything you need to know about how your body heals itself. It starts out, there's a time to kill.
Mm-hmm.
When is there a time to kill? if you have precancer cells or cancer cells in your body, don't you want your immune system to kill all of them? No,
Yeah.
it should save some and have mercy. No, kill all of them. So
Yeah.
your body
Right.
pretty much, if it recognizes it, tries to get rid of those precancer and cancer cells. Matter of fact, if you have a virus like HPV that women might have vaginally or cervical, within a year, your body, 99% of people get rid of that virus that would lead to cervical cancer. But wouldn't it be better if they stopped eating French fries and hamburgers and pop and ate more of the food that would help the immune system get rid of those cells? So
Right.
it's the mindset that really is the impediment. It's hard to change the mindset.
Yeah, it has to be definitely something that you decide that if I want to, my family to live longer, have health, because I know we have gone through, we've heard over and over and over, if, somewhere in my age, Greg, because I'm 62, your age, that like you said, your mama cooked. Your mama was a nutritionist. She brought the food in. My mama cooked. They brought the food in. And so we had people staring at a pot in my age, but a lot of the kids now, like you said, a box, they get their food out of boxes and bags, and nobody's staring in a pot, so they don't get the nutrition. They may eat a lot, but they're again nutrition deprived, just like you're
Right.
talking about the 600-pound woman or whatever. And so they may, even though they got a lot of food, but because there's no nutritional value there, they're still they're still very deficient in their vitamins and nutrition. So they're saying if we don't change something with our children, we would be the first generation to also bury our children, because
Right.
they're not getting the vitamins and nutrition they need to make their body function properly. Is that true?
That is very true. And we can take it one step further and say it's already been proven that this, what I call junk food, the fast food, the box food, is a leading contributor to all the alphabet soup. ADHD, ADD, all those behavior problems. And you
Mm-hmm.
ask any teacher, and they'll tell you these kids are off the chain after lunch.
Yeah, yeah, and
Or
they're not
don't
even
give the kid,
supplying. What
don't
you
get,
say? Huh?
don't let that kid get a whole lot of sugar. And parents know this. No, you can't have all that sugar before they go to bed, because you're going to be running around and not be able to follow instructions. So there's one more thing I want to mention for your viewing audience, and this is the most important finding in the last 100 years that you haven't heard about. So inside your body, your capillaries, those are the smallest, tiniest blood vessels, equals 60,000 miles. 60, in other words, the capillaries in your body would go around the earth 2.5 times. Those are the capillaries that supply every single inch of your body with oxygen and nutrients, and takes away the waste products like carbon dioxide and toxins. So Dr. Vink, who made a video scope that goes under your tongue, measures your microvascular blood flow. I'm talking about blood vessels. 100 of these blood vessels would fit in one hair. 100. That's how tiny they are. So those things are easy to get sluggish. It's easy for those to get blocked. And they can't measure it because the angiogram only measures down to 100 micrometers. These blood vessels are 4, 5, 6 micrometers. What does that mean? The red blood cell that's 8 micrometers has to fold to slide through these. So when that Teflon coating called glycocalyx is worn out, you don't have good blood flow. So that's why African Americans have more kidney failure. So if you have vitamin D and you take something that can restore this lining that helps your blood flow smoothly, you have less disease. And so he discovered it. They've done research for 30 years. They got a patent since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to their meeting in Atlanta, I met the CEO. I sat with him for 3 days, and he pulled me to the side and said, Doc, we're not going to really be able to publish this, but here's what we've noticed. Because we've tested people all over the world since 2009. That's when we got the patent. He said, Black Americans have the worst microvascular blood flow of any group in the world.
Mm.
Any group in the world. So I got the equipment, so I do measure that blood flow. And when people are surprised that their level is 1, 2, or 3 instead of 8, 9, or 10, then they get an understanding that you think you were eating healthy, but you didn't have the right nutrients.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
think your level of exercise was enough to improve your blood flow, but the blood flow doesn't increase through a blood vessel that's closed off. Like with a parade, you put up barriers, the street is still there, but you can't
But you got the,
deliver and you can't pick up. You got to remove the barrier. What's the barrier? Lack of glycocalyx. So I know it's a big word, but it's just like a Teflon coating in your 60,000 miles of capillaries. And so if these capillaries in your kidneys aren't functioning, you start to lose kidney function. 1% a year, okay, in 5, 10, or 20 years, you have a real problem. That's why you have high blood pressure. So I've used this supplement. I have plenty of people who use the supplement and their high blood pressure was gone in 2 months or less. It helps with blood flow to the hippocampus. I jokingly tell my patients, you got to learn how to feed the hippo. What does that mean? The hippocampus is the part of your brain that processes memory.
Mm.
So when we get blood flow back to there, now you don't forget where you parked. So it's very important for people to understand this is earth-shattering new information that's not going to make it to your doctor for another 10 years. Some people don't have that 10-year luxury. So
no. So, wow.
you remember yesterday? The lady got up and did a testimony. Were you there?
No, because I ended up having to leave out. That's why I said I didn't get a chance to hear all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, you're talking about, yes, she did when she was saying that she was about to have, she had 3, she was 70% clogged in her
Yeah.
arteries, and she took some of that product that you're speaking of, and she took some of that, and when they were preparing for her surgery, to do the surgery, because she was 70% blockage, and she had been taking, how long she had been taking? I can't remember how long she had been
She took
taking
the
it.
supplement, and this is what blew me away. She took the supplement for 9 days.
Yeah, I knew it
And
wasn't very long.
it took
Yeah,
her from 70% blockage down to 20. And when she woke up, before she went to sleep, they were prepping her neck, prepping her groin. We're going to have to put in 3 stents. You got
yeah,
all this blockage. So they did
right.
the angiogram again. When she woke up, she said, we didn't have to do anything because it all cleared up.
Yeah,
9
yeah,
days.
9
So I
days.
have,
So we know, so we know things cannot just clear up in 9 days. I mean, not a norm. I mean, so so what you're saying about that? This is so good. I got a couple of questions that we got in here, and people are asking, one, how much vitamin D should we have a day, and is vitamin D and D3 both the same?
so you only should take D3.
Oh,
Most people,
okay.
if you end up getting a prescription from your doctor, that's D2. That's only 15% absorbed. So I say get D3 and
Okay.
take 10,000 a day, get a blood test, and you want your level to be somewhere between 70 and 100.
100. Okay. 70 and 100.
A lot of
Okay.
doctors say when you get to 30, it's okay because the range is 30 to 100. So I jokingly say, if I was a kid and I tried to tell my mom, hey, the teacher said the range on the spelling test was 30 to 100, you should be proud of me because I got a 40. Back then, you would get a smack in the mouth. And
Yeah. Well, no,
so
yeah,
anybody who
exactly.
doesn't know their vitamin D, you should get your blood drawn immediately. And if
Yeah.
it's not at least 70, you need to take 10,000 a day.
Okay.
I have a group of patients who had families that every single person in their family ended up with COVID in their household, except the person who was taking 10,000 of vitamin D. University of Chicago did a study 2021, and that showed for every 1 point of vitamin D from 20 to 40, you reduce your chance of COVID by 5%. That meant to go from 20 to 40, that's 100% reduction in getting COVID. University of
Okay.
Chicago, study in 2021. Guess what? Black people were helped by vitamin D more than any other group. So you didn't hear it on the news.
Mm-hmm.
So here's
Mm-hmm.
a picture. This is an old picture. Get the other one. Uh, so anyway, this is a picture, and I know it's backwards. I don't know how to turn it around,
That's
but
okay.
it's Endocalyx Pro. Same one. It's a red bottle now. They just changed the bottle to red. But this is a supplement anybody can, order from me, and we will go through. Here's the 3 steps to do, because we want you to take the supplement, but we also want you to change your nutrition so you have the supporting nutrients. And we want you to get off the couch and go for a walk for 30 minutes every day.
Yeah.
If you do that, it's going to make a big difference. And I want to quickly, this is what it looks like now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know it looks like it's reversed. I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
called Endocalyx Pro. I just call it Endo C Pro. And this probably, no, this is not going to work. I was going to show you the post I have up about the vitamin D preventing COVID, but it would be backwards. So I'm not going to try to do that.
Okay. We might
So
can still post it on my page later. You can give it to me and I can post
okay,
it on the page. I can
I'll
do
do
that.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Also, if anybody wants to see videos and the 200 papers that were done in 180 universities and hospitals, I sent you on my phone the websites they can go to. So if you could
Okay.
post that later, because my website is drbloodflow.com. That's drbloodflow.com. But there's also a longer name, microvascularhealth.com, with a / scarless healing. Because what I offer are protocols that help your body heal without leaving a scar. And so these are things that were already there. I didn't invent them. I just said, well, here's 5 things. If you put it together, your body will heal better. And like I said, every African American needs to know, and really every person needs to know, your vitamin D level should not be 30, 40, or 50. It needs to
Right.
go up to 70 to 100.
Now, can you take too much vitamin D? I mean, is
Well,
there such a thing as taking too much?
a lot of my friends or colleagues always say that. And I say, well, where'd you hear that?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a patient in the hospital with vitamin D toxicity? No.
No.
You ever heard of another doctor having a patient with toxicity? No.
No.
So where'd you hear that? I don't know. I just heard it. So let me tell you what happened. In the 20s or 30s, University of Chicago did a study with people that had bad arthritis. They gave them 100,000 units of vitamin D every day. Not 10,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
So in 2 months, nobody had arthritis no more. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
But they all had to go be in the hospital because they were so toxic, they had to get IVs due to the toxicity. So they already know 40,000 a day or more will get you toxic. The Endocrine Society says nobody's ever gotten toxic from 10,000 a day. So 10,000 IUs equals 150 micrograms. So you'll take 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol, but you're scared of 125 micrograms of the most essential. So I pose this question, and I'll send out the newsletter. It says, what's the #1 hormone deficiency in the world? And that leads to the question you asked. The answer is vitamin D. But I call vitamin D restore hormone because it restores every organ system in your body, starting with your immune system. So this is the answer to the question, why are Black people who have a genetic advantage, and people who don't believe that, I say, well, just turn on the TV. If Black men are 4% of the American population, how are they 70 or 80% of the professional basketball players? That's a genetic advantage. They're 4% of the American population, but they're 60, 70, 80% of NFL football players. That's a genetic advantage. Well, why do Black people die earlier every year from birth up to 65? That's because they're vitamin D deficient and immune system isn't working. So these are things that publish. And every single patient who I put on vitamin D, within 3 days say, man, I really feel better. I feel much better. Everybody who goes to a nice warm climate, gets in the sun for 2 or 3 days, they say, man, I love this. I feel a boost. I feel better. Yeah, your immune system is tuned up. So everybody needs to get a tune up. And we have, like I said, Restore 360 protocols. Here's how you restore your brain and get rid of memory loss. Here's how you restore your heart and reverse heart disease. So the cardiologist or doctor will say, oh, you can't reverse heart disease. You can stop it from getting worse, but you can't reverse it. And I explained to him, hey, look up Dr. Dean Ornish at Harvard. He's been reversing it since '84. He has 17 centers around the country that use his protocol of nutrition, stress reduction, and some supplements, and reverses heart disease. Well, I have several patients, I reversed their heart disease. So they had to get, one lady had a bypass. They told her in 3 months, you're going to get 2 more bypasses. She took the endocalyx. In 3 months, they did an angiogram, no heart disease. The lady who said the other day, she said the same thing.
Right. I have to ask this because this really kind of infuriates me to some degree. You know, for the longest time, for over 6 years now, my hormones were all over the place from what I'm told. And I didn't know that. That's when I found out that vitamin D was actually a hormone type vitamin.
Right.
So we call it vitamin D, but it has more than one use. It's really a hormone, da, da, da. But no one ever said that until I was just really questioning everything. And I'm like, why do the medical society, because all these things you just said have such a big impact on our health, but yet they don't tell you about a lot of this. And you're going to the doctors on a regular, and they don't know. They just, they just don't. I don't know. I don't understand why we're left in the dark about that, and especially if it can start to cure a lot of these things. Well, of course, we don't want to cure because we keep you going to the doctor. So I need to hear, what is your take on that?
Well, I can only say so much in a public forum.
I know. I can just say it.
What to be clear is that if you don't have nutritional science in medical school, how can the doctor know? But there's hope. There's hope. 9 medical schools now include some nutritional training. 9 out of hundreds. So when those doctors finish and in practice, that's about 20, 25 years. It'll be a little better. But some of us are old enough. You can't wait for them.
No.
So I try to explain to my patients who want to see me, you have to become a CEO. You have to be the chief executive officer for your own health.
Yes.
You have to take charge.
Yes.
You can't wait for the doctor to know. Because he doesn't know. It's not like it's a conspiracy and he knows to take it himself, but he's not going to tell you. He doesn't know. So if you don't teach them nutritional science, what can they do? Oh, I know. We can do a prescription and give you some pills.
Yeah.
We can't tell you what food will change your epigenetics and change the genes and have you recover. Second thing, I studied endocrinology. Like I said, vitamin D is the most serious hormone deficiency in the world. And I'm really mad because I've been dealing with women and their hormone issues for 30, 40 years. I went to the doctor, told him I need my testosterone checked. He said, what for? He didn't even know that men's testosterone drops. And if your testosterone is low, you're more likely to have muscle loss and heart disease. Then when mine came low, and diabetes. When mine came low, he didn't say anything about it. So doctors aren't trained in advanced endocrinology. They're not trained in exercise physiology. And just so you know, exercise is the #1 way to improve your health the fastest. If you're sitting on a couch and you simply walk every day for 30 minutes, it reduces your chance of death from all causes. Why? It releases hormones that goes to the brain and makes your brain have better connections. So it's proven science that I am citing, but they don't have. I took the course for exercise physiology. I took the course with the guys that train Olympic VO2 max. They put the nasal prawns in and measure when they go from aerobic to anaerobic. So I took those courses primarily because I was interested, but I said, I need this stuff. I need nutrition because I was taking care of pregnant women. They need the best nutrition to have the best baby. And when I found this out, I'm like, why are they hiding this? There's a reason why it's hidden from the doctor and, of course, the patients.
Right.
Endocannabinoid system, not taught in school. So
Okay.
there are 5 or 6 things that aren't taught, and that's why they end up only being able to give a prescription.
Okay. So I have a question that came up within a few. This one says, with all the different products out there, what makes yours? There's some of them do the same thing that yours do. What can you say to make yours better? What makes yours better or set apart from the other
Yeah.
items?
So first, it's not my product. It's something that I researched and found that another company is making. Second,
Okay.
over 200 studies prove that this works. They actually have a patent through the FDA that says this product will increase your glycocalyx. There is no other product even close. And I caution people because people don't know what they're talking about. So they think taking beets or beet juice or a supplement with beets will help your blood flow. No.
Mm-hmm.
On another time, we'll talk about how toxins develop from enzymes plus excess nitric oxide, and peroxynitrate is the name of the toxin, is associated with 60 different chronic diseases. So if we test and find out that's high, we got to change something. So no, there's no other way to measure the blood flow except the glycocheck machine, and there's no way to improve it as much with endocalyx compared to whatever else you could find on the market. And it's already FDA approved for that.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
All
right. So
say one more thing. 180 different universities and hospitals have done the research for the last 30 years on the glycocalyx.
Yeah.
200 peer-reviewed papers. And if you go to the website that I mentioned, you can see videos where it's explained in such detail that it'll allow you to have an insight into how your body actually works.
Okay. Can you send me that link, and then I can place that out there as well?
Yeah, I sent it to your phone before we started.
And I'll definitely do that. So well, you've given so much in such a little time, guys. Like I said, this is part A. He's going to come back next week, and we're going to do part B. Because as you can see, he has a plethora of information, and doing this for so long. He said he's been doing it since '79, so that's a long time. And he's just hitting on some of these things. I know one of the things I did say we were going to talk about, and I do want to cover a little bit of that. Tell us a little bit about Ozempic, because I know we're probably over 9 o'clock, but we had issues getting on. So can you tell us a little bit, you don't have to go into a little bit about Ozempic, because I know that's the big word now, and I know it's not just Ozempic. I know they have another person mentioned another name, because they have a lot of other, what'd you say?
There are 3 or 4 different ones. They all basically do the same thing.
They all do the same kind of thing, yes. Yeah.
So it's a glucagon-like peptide. So as you get older, you might have a problem with glucagon, which is a hormone, or insulin resistance, which is another hormone, or leptin resistance, or ghrelin. So these are hormones that get out of balance. And so, in my opinion, I know this is just an example, but if you were inviting somebody over, in other words, the food you're eating, would you just only clean the dining room table, or you would clean the whole house? Of course, you would clean the whole house. So by taking Ozempic without changing the diet, learning how to do a detox, in other words, get your liver, kidneys, and skin excreting toxins, it might look like it's helping, but we need to look at, well, what's the possible side effects? Inflammation of your pancreas, pancreatitis, that could be life-threatening. They say don't take it if you had a thyroid tumor. You could have nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. So there are people who definitely can give you the testimony, oh, they lost, 20, 30, 60 pounds. But the problem is, long-term, what's the result? And you have to understand, a company came out with Vioxx. That's supposed to be the best pain reliever ever. They knew when they released it, it caused more heart attacks. They released it anyway. And 300,000 people had unnecessary heart attacks, then they had to take it off the market. But if you make $3 billion and you get $100 million fine, you still made money.
You still made money, and
So
people
everybody
die
needs
while
to
you're making.
Yep. That's why I say everybody needs to, have a coach that can help them learn and understand what's best for them. Because the question always is, well, what's optimal? What's best for me? And you'll be told, oh, the vitamin D range is 30 to 100, and you're 35, so that's good. Well, you don't stop preventing cancer until that level is at least 70 to 100. Yeah. So they're telling you a range. Your level could be 20 and it'll prevent rickets, bone problems. But Black women die the most from breast cancer because they have the lowest vitamin D, in my opinion. Black men die the most from colon cancer for the same reason. Who gets the most high blood pressure, diabetes?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. So question for you, because I know they're expecting in 2030, how many? 700,000 people will be affected by colon cancer by 2030. So we're saying if people up their vitamin D, they'll go get checked and they up their vitamin D levels, we can definitely, that target can go way down, since we know that vitamin D helps to prevent a lot of that, helps to prevent a lot of that, because that's what they're saying. Estimated 700,000 will be affected by colon cancer by 2030. And if we go and improve our vitamin D, that is a good way to help that.
Yeah.
So
that's very true.
And
I call it the geographical curse. It's not that Black people are cursed, it's the geography. What I mean by that, if you live above the 33rd parallel, your vitamin D is going to be so insufficient that there are 17 different cancers that you're more likely to have than the white person. Because the one who made people did not put Black people this far north. The melanin in your skin is blocking the sun, and that's blocking vitamin D development. So yes, you can reduce the colon cancer rate. And the other thing I mentioned, just so people have an idea, to get enough polyphenols, that's the stuff that's in fruit and vegetables, I recommend either A, you rotate through 30 different fruit and vegetables in a month. And what I do, since my time is such that I don't actually do that much, I take a supplement. It's called Juice Plus, which is dehydrated fruit and vegetables. And to me, that's the best way to fill the gap between what you should be eating and what you actually eat. Because once you're an adult, you're locked into what you grew up eating, and you might not rotate through artichokes and eggplant and the other fruit and vegetables that have multiple colors, because that's where the polyphenols come from. So I'm going to put this up briefly. I know you can't see it that well, but this is like a picture of showing all the different kinds of Juice Plus. And there are some people who will say, oh, that's just, you could just eat fruit and vegetables. Well, okay, on a calendar, just write down how many different ones you eat in a month. And if you're not getting up to 30, then the Juice Plus is the best supplement. The vitamin D is on dog. Everybody should be taking that. Every adult should be taking that at 10,000 a day. And the kids can take it at like 2,000 for every 25 pounds. So the baby can take 2,000. If you're 50 pounds, 4,000, 75, 6,000 and so forth. By the time you get to 100, 120 pounds, you take the adult dose. And
Okay. Okay, so I got a question. A couple of, I see another question here too, but I have a question. You were talking about taking like the Juice Plus or something that have a lot of your all your vegetables in a powder form. So because a lot of people are going to juicing right now, and they're juicing so many different. So if they still juice and they still add different vegetables and fruits within those juice, would that still do the same thing?
well, like I have vegetarians, and I ask them, be honest, give me a list right now of all the fruit and vegetables you put in your smoothie. They don't get past 10.
Okay.
And you rotate through the same 10. You're eating the same 4, 5, or 6 vegetables every day. And if you put
Okay.
fruit in a smoothie, what are you getting? Blueberries, some pineapple, some strawberries, some raspberry. So you add it together, you're not getting 30 different ones in a month. And so that's why if you want to do it, you have to do it that way. And I tried it. I got an organic farm to send me stuff, try to rotate through it. After 3 or 4 days, some of that produce was going bad. There's only
Right.
so much, and I would juice and freeze it. And to be honest, I had my daughter do it because I wasn't doing all that. She gave me 2 quarts of that every day. Yes, that was wonderful, but it still didn't have that. So I'd open the Juice Plus capsules and put it in the smoothie. Now I got
Yeah.
30 different ones. So one of
Okay.
my patients told me, Doc, you don't have to worry about that mess, because I told her I would leave the blender. By the end of the day, it would be hard. She said, I open the capsule, put in a bottle of water after I take a swig, I mix it up, and then I drink it. I don't have anything to clean up. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent idea. So you just
Yeah.
have to be creative. And I agree 100%. If you can get organic fruit and vegetables and rotate through 30, you don't need any supplement. But then when we test
Okay.
your blood and your vitamin D is low, because the vitamin D is not in the food you're eating, you at least need that supplement. If I
Right.
test your blood and your RBC magnesium, not the magnesium floating around in your serum, but how much is in a red blood cell. If that's low, you need a different magnesium supplement. So there are a lot of these
Okay.
nuances, and that's why we do coaching and offer a plan for people wherever they live to get a tune-up, just like you would get a tune-up if you're going to drive your car from Chicago to California. How do people leave the house every day and they never get a tune-up on the nutrients that help your brain function better?
Right. Oh my gosh, we could go on and on and on. We have so I have a couple more questions and we're gonna let you off here because I know I said a certain amount of time and we're
Yeah.
there, but I have a couple of other things. There's some things that you brought up. Um, you brought up, and well, one of them, somebody's asked me, how is magnesium good for the body? Another question I want to ask you, if people decide they want to go to their doctor, they want to get this test done, they want to see where their magnesium, their vitamin D levels, should they just ask for, would that be a certain panel you ask for, or you just say, this is what I want? And third, another one says, I just left Africa and learned how important how important healthy plantains are, but also learned that they are against my blood type. How do I work that out? There's 3 questions.
A lot of questions, a lot of questions. So the first thing is there really isn't a panel that includes everything.
Okay.
So if somebody said, I want to test for everything, where's 400 different micronutrients and your insurance isn't going to cover it?
Well, not
So,
everything, but just to cover these kind of things like the vitamin D, the magnesium,
right.
whatever else. I mean,
Food
those. Well, I guess those may just ask
erythropoietin,
for those.
the homocysteine, with your
Um,
DHEA. So there's certain basic things that insurance will cover that I get that first. Then we change the nutrition. And then I have what's called a PEMF, a pulse electromagnetic mat. When you lay on that, the magnetic rays opens the pores in your cells so the nutrition you're eating can get in better. This has been used in Europe for over 10 years, and it's just now coming here. This can help people that got inflammation in their joints because it turns off the inflammation. This can help many different conditions. There's now new technology, whether it's the pulse magnetic rays or the hyperbaric oxygen chamber that's behind me, or it's the infrared sauna that improves blood circulation. So you combine all of that with the endocalyx that reverses the aging of your blood vessels, and I think you can basically function, have better energy, better muscle mass, and muscle strength than you did 20 or 30 years ago. And like
Oh,
I
wow.
said, it's when you try it and you see it, then you can understand. Now it just seems like empty words. If I said it's
Wow.
proven to restore your capillaries in your muscles, so you had that reserve you did at 19, that just sounds like a theory. That sounds just like a theory. But once
Right.
you try the endocalyx and you now can run for a couple of miles where you were having trouble walking a couple of miles, you'll see, oh, this is real.
This
This
is
is
real.
different.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
forgetting where I park my car anymore.
Right. Mm. That's just a little. Oh my gosh. And so, and why? And well, how is magnesium um, good? I mean, how's it work for the body? How's that good for the body? That's the question there.
Well, it's 300 enzymes that magnesium is needed for. So if you're low, it's just not going to work. Your body's just not going to work as well. So
Okay.
that's why I said it's important to get a RBC magnesium instead of a serum magnesium. So you got to know what to do and how to do it. Somebody put on there, I can see it. It says a CMP, complete metabolic profile. That's like kindergarten. So yes, that's helpful. But if they do a CMP and that's normal, that doesn't uncover all the other metabolic problems that they could have, because you could have a high homocysteine level, a high C-reactive protein level. In other words, other things that are telling you how it's working or not working.
Wow. Woo. We could stay here all night, Dr. Dr. Thomas. Yeah. Now, I do have a couple more questions. Something you said earlier, and I hear this a lot. Insulin resistant. You brought that up a second ago, and I wanted to point that out. When people say they're insulin resistant, explain that, if you would, please.
Okay. This is an analogy to try to make it plain. So, first of all, insulin resistance comes before pre-diabetes. Pre-diabetes
Mm.
comes before regular diabetes. But they shouldn't use that terminology, because if you have pre-diabetes, in your mind, here's what you're thinking. At least I don't have diabetes. Well, wait a minute. You have a metabolic problem that is proven to mess up your blood flow, your heart, your kidneys, but it's not messing it up that much yet. So now, 10 years later, you now have diabetes. They should have told you 10 years ago, hey, you need to change everything you're doing to stop this metabolic problem, because this metabolic problem is slowly
Yeah.
messing up your
Yeah.
heart, your lungs. Well, it's not messing up that much. If I saw somebody with low tires, well, low tires isn't a flat tire,
No, but
but if I let that person drive and I know they're going to California and they're starting out with low tires, especially if you're driving Chicago, you're going to hit a pothole and you're going to mess up your tire and your rim. So if you have insulin resistance, the next step is pre-diabetes. Why do you have insulin resistance? Your muscles aren't taking up the insulin. Why is that? Part of the time is you're not doing enough exercise. You're not eating the food that has the polyphenols that can help the muscles heal themselves. And
mm-hmm.
so you're on a treadmill, but you're going backwards. You're
Oh wow.
increasing metabolic problems, because leptin resistance, you're going to gain weight. Insulin resistance, you're going to gain weight. Well, where does it go to? The liver ends up with too much fat. Well, what does that do? the study shows if you have more than 6% fat in your pancreas, you will have diabetes because the fat is toxic to the pancreas. And that's why it's so important. The study showed if you lose about 30 pounds, you will lose 1 gram of fat out of your pancreas, and you will no longer have diabetes. 1 gram of fat.
So that means that your insulin resistance could have been detected before, I mean, at the beginning stages.
Right.
If the, but you're not, many times I don't know how much you're being told that.
They don't
Until or you just get to pre-diabetic. Well, now you're pre-diabetic, but you said if you do thus and so, then we can start nipping that in the bud right now. Not wait till you get freaking pre-diabetic or diabetic to say now let's address this. You know,
Yeah.
I'm oh my gosh, I'm just
It's a mindset problem because here's what I hear every week. Well, diabetes runs in the family. Yeah. And I tell them, diabetes does not run in your family. Let me tell you what runs in your family. Your eating habit.
yeah.
Your habit of sitting on the couch. The food selection you're eating. This is what's going to lead to diabetes, not the fact that your mom or dad or aunt or uncle had it. You have to look at, well, what were they doing? They were doing things that went against the metabolism. So I try to explain that you have 2 choices. You can help your body heal itself, or you can hinder it. From the point of view of the physical body, you can do things that will help you enter into the kingdom of health or the other kingdom. So the war that's going on now is that they're putting stuff in food, toxins that cause disease. So anybody who's listening that's serious about their health, you need to go organic for at least 2 weeks. That can reduce the toxins by 90%. See if you don't feel better.
So are we saying when you say go organic, are we talking about going organic, whether eating it raw, go organic, we can still eat it, but we cook it, or a little bit of both, or just stick strictly to maybe just raw foods, or it can be the same the foods but cooking it. What are you saying about that one? Just so we can make sure we know.
So that detail of whether it's raw or cooked or whatever, I don't worry about that. The first step is if you're not eating organic, is to start organic for 2 weeks. That's the first step. So if you could do it raw, that's great. If you can't, go ahead and heat it up a little. But when you heat up food past 109 degrees, you're killing the enzymes that's in the food. On the other hand, there's stuff in broccoli you need to heat up, else it might interfere with your thyroid. So there's all these little things that's hard to, cover everything in the podcast, but that's why everybody needs to have a coach or a doctor who knows this nutrition because he took courses and is board certified in nutrition, not the doctor you have that hasn't had nutrition in 40 years. That's the problem. So the person has to take responsibility and start doing research on their own to understand nutrition.
Right. Wow. And let's if we can go back and then we're going to get you off because hey guys, like I said, we're here every Monday night, you guys, at 8:30. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. We had some issues with our Facebook tonight, but we were able to get on, so that's why he's on much later. But I know I want to respect his time because he looked like he's still at his office. Haven't even been home yet, so we got to get off here so he can go home. But I did want to go ahead and address that. Yes, I want to address, like I said, this is part A. He'll be back next week. Part B, we did figure out what was going on with Facebook a little bit, so hopefully we won't have that issue next week, and we're going to talk more in depth about some other things. So we wanted to. The young man brought up a minute ago about wanting to eat more organically or eating things that he found that's really good for him, as they have a lot of nutrients, but is against his blood type. What is your take on that?
Well, I understand and read the research on blood types and what foods help and so forth and so on. But I also know that there was a study where they took people who were eating regular American food and assigned them the blood type food, not based on their blood type. They just artificially assigned them group A, B, or C. Everybody improved when they ate food that was supposedly according to their blood type, because the food according to your blood type was better than everything they were eating before they got to that point. So I'm not going to say the blood type diet doesn't work, but I'm saying if you're eating junk and you do any of an improvement in the diet, you're going to get better. Blood type,
Okay.
A, B, ABO, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not, trashing it, because I did read that it did improve it. But the biggest improvement, for an example, if you're a couch potato, the biggest improvement comes from you walking every day for 30 minutes. If you're walking every day for 30 minutes and then you go 40, 50 minutes, that's not going to improve you as much as the initial going from the couch to 30 minutes. So if you're eating junk food and you eat any diet that's better, you're going to see improvement.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, how much more improvement happens if you eat this, or this diet? That's what is hard to quantitate. So I'm looking for studies that, proves it. But, you go from nachos and hamburger and fries and chips to any other diet, you're going to get better.
Right.
How can you do the best? Rotate through 30 different fruit and vegetables. So
that's where you caught me right there. I mean, that was because I eat a lot of vegetable. I'm not a big fruit person, but I'm a big vegetable person. And I've added a fruit here and there. But I love when you said, but if I eat the same vegetables all the time, I'm definitely not rotating 30 of them.
Right.
That's for doggone sure. I'm just doing the ones that I mostly like. We grew up with the greens and maybe green bean added asparagus and cabbage and there's so many more out there to choose from. And so we need to have a plethora of different ones coming in. So I heard you say the other day, I eat radishes. I don't eat nothing really white, but a few things, some things you was bringing out the other day. And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I need to incorporate more vegetables and fruits in my diet, and to make sure we rotate within 30 of them a month. At least 30. It might be more than that, but at least 30, and changing them up, because your body can get used to anything. If you keep doing that, it won't have the same benefits that it once did when we, first start eating those things.
Can I tell you?
Is that right?
Let me tell you one more secret. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The allicin, a chemical they use to cause diabetes in mice, that's what they use to make bread white.
But it's on the market. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think nobody wants to cut off right now, but I have to do it. He may not want to come back next week, guys. So I definitely want to save some of this for next week. You have been amazing. I just so many things is running through my mind as well. And I'm just so thankful we were able to get you on. I know that's right, Ernestine said that you don't eat bread. So, I'm just so thankful. I'm just so very thankful that we were able to connect. So we'll be back next week. We'll be answering some of these questions, and I will put in, that's why so many, where are we saying here? There's questions jumping up, and I missed something there. I couldn't see what that was. And I know people want to hear more about your coaching. He's out of Chicago, Illinois. We'll be putting all that information up too as well. Because I really wanted to come to you anyway, because with this hormonal thing, and I know there was a cure. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know who to go to. I just kept saying, they were like, till you find your hormones, you will never lose weight. You'll never. And I'm like, bull crap. I'm going to find, you may not be able to tell me, but I'm not going to stop until I find what I need to get my body back to where it was. And so, and that was been my thing all since menopause. And I just knew I could figure it out. Or well, not necessarily me figure it out, but find somebody, because I wasn't going to stop looking. So I'm just really thankful. Like I said, you came on, Dr. Thomas, and we're going to be, as you can see, people love you. They want That's why other countries ban some foods. Yeah, a lot of countries ban food. We bring every freaking thing in here. We add stuff out there that we know is gonna kill you, but we don't matter because hey, it's money. You know, we just put it out there. You know, you said one of the things you had out there, we knew it was gonna cause how many people died. You know, they start getting the freaking having heart attacks, but they put it out there even though they knew it. So it's not like people they do this stuff even though they know some of the side effects.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Like you said, we got to be our own advocate. We got to be our own CEO of our own freaking health.
Right.
So, so I'm so thankful. Like I said, well, I'll put all this information out, and he's gonna give me those videos. We'll do all that, and I'm gonna go back and I'll look at this so I can see who's all on here. And they want to know like more about your coaching, and so I got your card. We can also put all that. I can post that as well. Is that our main thing to post? Was that the card with all your info?
Yeah, plus the websites that I sent.
And the website. Okay, yeah. So we can do that. And so guys, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for being patient when we were having trouble getting them on. But we were able to get through that. And so as you can see, it was well worth you guys coming back. So I'm so very, very thankful. And so you guys that have other questions, you can also reach out to me, but I am going to be put something on our page, Flat Belly page and all that. So next week, start drumming it up and say he's going to be back on next week for part B. To bring on and to answer more questions, tell you more about what the supplement he's talking about, other things about our health, because if we don't have our health, we don't have that, because health is wealth, so and we don't have our health. I always say we don't have much, because what is it to have all the money in the world and you don't have your health? Absolutely none. Tell a lot of those that's 6 feet under right now, right? So again, thank you again, Dr. Thomas. You've been absolutely amazing, which I knew you would, and I'm so glad you were able to move things around to be on here tonight. So you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. We will be back here, Lord willing, same place, same time next week. Again, 8 Eastern Standard Time, 7 Central. If you get on a little late, just get on, because you can see you don't want to miss it all, okay? So, and hopefully we won't have no hiccups next week. So again, Dr. Thomas, thank you so much. You want to leave us with anything before we go?
The last thing I want to leave you with is a question. Why most of the countries in Europe don't have fluoride in the water?
Oh, we know fluoride is not good for us. We already know that.
Recent study showed if you stop using fluoride within 2 weeks, majority of those patients don't have high blood pressure anymore. So we'll get into the details of what you can do to heal your body, but it's not me that's coming up with new theories. I'm relaying to you how the body was designed to operate.
Anyway.
So if you respect the one who made the body, then you can find out how or what you can do for it to operate according to the original design.
Right.
And that's the things that I love researching.
Right. Okay. Well, you gave me I'm just really, I feel really good. And I'm glad that, again, thank you again, Dr. Thomas. We will see you back, Lord willing, like I said, next week, same place, same time. Guys, right now, you have all week to start inviting people. Get your family, friends on here, because you don't want to miss this young man. He's going to give you some things to help you, help your health, help your family. Because I'm already thinking about somebody I know right now is fighting breast cancer right now. Right now. And she didn't want to do she did the chemo, but she didn't want to continue doing chemo. And they said, if you don't do chemo, they gave her this pill. This is your last alternative. If you don't do this pill, you're going to die a horrible death. Well, first of all, who says that? And that's what they told her. And so she didn't want to take the pill, but they kept throwing it down her throat. And she eventually, because she was just feeling so sick, but we want to detox her. And I'm going to tell her, like, just start getting your vitamin D. I don't know how I can help when you're already in stage 4 cancer. That's where she's at. I don't know if that's going to help her, but I know it can't hurt her. So we can definitely, maybe we can talk more about that later too. So again, thank Thank you guys. You all have an amazing evening. Thanks for hopping on, and hopefully we'll see you back next week. This is Rochelle. Talk Rochelle signing off. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Bye,
Thanks for
everybody.
inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thanks for sure. Bye-bye.